Training camels is unlike any feat you will undertake. But do not be misled. Just because they are a large animal, it does not mean you need great strength to train them. The training method that we are about to teach you has been accomplished by the young, old, male, female, all different backgrounds, from people with no large animal experience at all to people who regularly deal with large animals. In this training video, we will cover the first 3 steps to train a camel. These camel training methods have been tried and tested on all breeds of camels from a variety of backgrounds: young, mature, wild, domesticated, male and female. If you follow these steps, this will be one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do. First, let's put a few things clear. Camels are not how the media portrays. They are not spitting, biting, kicking and cantankerous creatures. Sure, they can do all those things as a defense mechanism, but they are very timid by nature and can be frightened easily if they are unfamiliar with a new environment and or people. The camel isn't a flight animal. Instead, they will often freeze in fear, hence where their reputation of stubbornness comes in. Firstly, you need to establish a connection with the camel. Camels are very timid by nature, even though their size indicates otherwise. It can be tricky to tell if a camel is in fear or not, as their signs can be very, very subtle. The camel has a very curious personality and will be intrigued by new and non-threatening things or people. This alone puts you in a position to be able to win the camel's trust. This can be done simply by being in the camel's presence, not asking anything of them or doing anything with them. But it's really important to always play on the cautious side. Always have indirect eye contact with the camel, especially if your back is turned. Camels thrive off connection. This is evident in their natural herd environments, where they create strong bonds with their herd members. In this training method, the camel connection, trust-based camel training, our sole aim is to build a strong bond and trusting relationship with the camel. Once you've won the initial trust of the camel and built a bond, you can begin the next step. If you skip the first step, you're doing your relationship with this camel a disservice, and the camel will be more fearful and less cooperative. Remember, the goal is to build a trusting relationship. Don't give the camel any reason to fear you. Your job as a cameleer or a camel handler is to reduce the fear, not increase it. Now it's time to ask your camel to do something under instruction. The best place to start with instructions is asking the camel to sit. This can also be called hush or kush. The command we use is hush. We start with sitting because it's something the camel is very familiar with, as they sit and stand all day long in their natural environments. But the trick here is to get the camel to familiarize the word hush with the action of sitting. Some camels will figure this out quickly, others will take longer. Generally speaking, the younger the camel, the longer time they'll take to figure it out. Give the camel lots of patience and thinking time, as they are very intelligent creatures. How do you get a camel to sit? There are many methods out there with different camel trainers, and they all work, but some require a high level of force, which is unnecessary and unachievable for many people. We use 2 methods in particular, but we only start with one. Our first go-to method for sitting a camel is when we use their sensitivity, intelligence, and gentleness to help them to understand the word association hush with their action of sitting. Once the first sit is got, it gets easier and easier. That's how smart camels are. We only use the second method if, for some time, the camel has become unresponsive. But we always end up circling back to the first method to give the camel a chance to sit under less pressure. The idea of camel training is pressure release. If you ask something of the camel and you got it, release any pressure, and that pressure includes your presence, as without your presence, the camel can have its thinking time, and they are big thinkers. The final part of this initial training is asking them to respectfully walk with you on a lead. This can only be done successfully if you've built a strong bond and trusting relationship with your camel. This doesn't take long to achieve. In fact, in our courses, we have camels, wild and domesticated, sitting, standing and leading on command without fail within 3 days. These are the important foundational steps to achieve your camel training goals. Like anything worth building on, first you have to have the foundations in place, and from that anything else can be built on top. The next phases to camel training, depending on your goals, is to introduce the saddle to the camel, maybe some packs and or a rider. It surprises many that this phase is actually more simple than the foundational training because the camel has grown to trust you and you have built a bond with the camel. So once the camel knows that you are not to be feared, anything is possible. If you'd like to take your camel training skills further and learn the Camel Connection Trust-Based Camel Training Method, check out our virtual camel training school online, or you can also check out our in-person camel training courses over at camelconnection.com. Thanks for watching and happy camel connecting.